testifying against both bills. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Brad Lancaster, and I'm with Lake Travis Independent School District. I've been there just a year, and I'm looking to find my way around Austin, and I'm glad I found the right room today. Thank you for having me. I'm also the Vice Chair and Chair-elect of the Fast Growth Schools Coalition. We represent about 100 school districts in the state of Texas that have about 83% of the enrollment growth total in the state in our 100 school districts. So this bill has an impact on our districts when we're implementing bond issues on a regular basis. I currently have 8,200 students in my school district. We're building an elementary school as well as a middle school. Right now, we expect to have a bond election about every 5 years. My purpose today is to speak against specifically sections 11 and 12 relating to the ballot language. It's my opinion that this will affect our district significantly. My biggest concern is the ballot language, as I've mentioned. This is a no-win situation for us. If we try to put just the total debt amounts, those numbers will be off-putting without any explanation. If we're required to list all of the information, it will be so comprehensive and exhaustive that I believe voter fatigue will occur, and people will either turn away in confusion, they'll vote randomly, and our biggest problem is no one will be there to explain that ballot language, and I think it presents a significant hurdle for us. In my opinion, the education should occur before the balloting process. We're already under strict guidelines on how we report. Our current budgets are on our webpage by statute. We have a great deal of information already available to our public. The bond election process prior to the election of telling our voters about what's in the bond and our previous debt and our future debt is exhaustive. But I don't think we can educate our public on the day of the election on a piece of paper in the ballot. And I'm most concerned that the language in this bill does not apply to the state. It only applies to local governments. And I would prefer that if we're going to have to do this, the state would do it as well. But really my point is I would rather we not do it at all. We have a great deal of facility growth restrictions already in place in the form of the 50-cent debt test, failure to increase the existing debt allotment and the instructional facilities allotment since the 90s, and the defunding of the new instructional facilities allotment. My purpose today is to let you know I'm willing to accept the language related to reporting requirements, but I would oppose those sections 11 and 12.
So you would be for the bill if 11 and 12 were taken out?
I would be more comfortable with the bill if sections 11 and 12 would come out. I would not go so far as to say I'm in favor.
You are with Lake Travis ISD?
Yes, ma'am, here in West Austin. Superintendent.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
The superintendent?
Yes, ma'am.
We're honored to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Questions from Representative Ratliff.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here today. Where were you before you were at Lake Travis?
Midway ISD, which is West Waco, very similar district to Lake Travis Fast Growth. Built 2 new schools there in the last 5 years. Prior to that, I was in Allen ISD, very, very fast growth, and then College Station ISD as well.
Your experience in those 4 districts, are all the buildings exactly the same?
No.
Do they cost the same amount to build?
No.
Are they customized to meet your citizens' needs?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a facilities review committee that looks at that?
Yes, sir.
School board of trustees that consider the variables?
Yes, sir.
They'll weigh all the options about whether you're going to build something that'll last 10 years or 100 years?
Absolutely. I've not built a building yet that is expected to last 10 years.
I ask that for a reason, because portables typically don't have the life of a brick.
In the 5 districts I've been in, I've never had a failed bond election that I participated in as a teacher, principal, assistant superintendent, or superintendent. And every district I've been in has made use of portable buildings. I've got portables right now. The elementary school that has the most relief in my current school district has over 900, 2 schools with 2 elementary schools out of 5, over 900 students. All of my buildings, one way or another, have portable buildings. You build them just in time. You can't build them and put 200 kids. And if you wait too late, then you're overcrowded. If you do it too early, you have an empty new building. But,
so has it been your experience that y'all do a lot of work out in the community educating the voters on what's in the bond election?
In Lake Travis ISD, prior to the November bond election, we had 65 community meetings that educated our public extensively on the land that was being purchased, the school buildings we were building, where they were being built, the total cost of each bond element, and that was $158 million, $76 million in Midway, my previous district.
Is that consistent with what you've done in the other 3 districts you've been involved in?
My previous district, we did about 30 community presentations, and that's more typical.
But
In my previous district, the superintendent had left, and in absence of a sitting superintendent, they went to a great degree to educate the public because they were a little bit concerned about not having a sitting superintendent. They had an interim, and they were doing a search at the same time. And I was appointed the day after the election passed, thankfully. But they went overboard on having those number of meetings for the community.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you think that your voters were educated about it before they got to the ballot box?
I put a lot of faith in the intelligence of the voters of the districts I've been in. And in Allen, we were adding 9 to 11% students a year. Like Travis, we're adding 5 to 7% students every year. And I don't believe anybody's ever been swindled by a district I've been in or uninformed. And by the margins that these bond deficits have passed, I have to believe they know what they're voting for. The education comes early, not on the day of the ballot box.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
It's very important. Thanks for having me.
Chair calls Donald.